tires, wreckers, and more. Brought to you by Howe Patio Windows. They bring you premier windows, sunrooms, siding, and roofing in all of Southwest Michigan since 1983.
Dear Lord baby Jesus, or as our brothers to the south call you, Jesus, we thank you so much for this bountiful harvest of Domino's, KFC, and the always delicious Taco Bell. I just want to take time to say thank you for my family, my two beautiful, handsome, striking sons, Walker and Texas Ranger, or TR as we call him, and of course my red hot smoking wife.
I'm coming alive, I'm real when I'm on the rise. Yeah. You see the look in my eyes, it's going down right now. And I'm taking my shot, way up at the top, up at the zone, we ain't gonna stop. It's going down right now. Get ready right now. Get ready right now. Get ready. It's going down.
Oh man, she kept us muted. What is going on, everybody? Happy
Monday.
I was rolling.
I like that. Yeah. How's it going, everybody? Glad you tuned in. Had a week off as we recovered from North Carolina.
Recovered is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's a good time, though. Good time.
Was a good time.
So real quick, make sure you like our page, you share the stream, comment away. We got Phil Bozell in the house tonight, so make sure you ask him questions. Get some good questions for him because he's extremely knowledgeable in the sport, and it's always good to have him here. Big thank you to our partners, Howe Patio Window. It was Windows until Paul found the ball, and sorry, Gary.
Yeah, we owe you a display.
Yeah, a couple. Kalamazoo Speedway, Finish Line Landscape Management, Finish Line Handyman Home Repair, EMA Enterprises, Top Row Racing Media, and of course, Alicia, thank you for everything that you do for us. Man.
She's going on strike the way
she is. I kind of been giving her crap today, and I shouldn't be giving her crap, but I am. So, first off,
hi, Mom.
Yeah. So before I jump into my, I guess not rant, any updates that you got before?
No, it's all pretty quiet right now. Not a whole lot going on. Kalamazoo Speedway's got the Bad Santa next Saturday. Weather is looking better than it did last year. Won't have snow on the track probably, so that's pretty awesome.
Couple of guest appearances.
Oh, yep.
No, I mean there's going to be a couple of guest appearances at the Bad Santa. I think it's a mailman. Or it's the cops blocking traffic for us.
They heard Phil's here. Oh boy.
Who's the guest appearances at the Bad Santa?
We got Gabby Downing, I believe is the last name, and Jim York. Yep. I think was the other one. Of they were at was the mailman. Good job.
Squirrel.
They were at the Night of Destruction in June, put on a hell of a show. So should be a great time. I know it's going to be a daytime event, so you don't have to worry about getting too cold out there. Either way, just bring more Fireball if you do.
Chris, I am recovering. Well, I wouldn't say quickly, but I am recovering. I'm here. I told Paul, I think it was Friday, I said, look, we're doing the show. I'll be fine. So thank you. First of all, I guess I would thank everyone for reaching out. There was a lot of love out there that just kind of overwhelming. You come out of surgery and you look at everything, and before you go into surgery, you're like, holy crap. So thank you everyone for reaching out, the prayers and the thoughts. It really means a lot. So
if you'd like to see any videos of Chad waking up from surgery,
no, that was before surgery.
That is $4.99. Send it to my PayPal.
That was before surgery when they gave me the happy juice.
The happy juice?
That's what they called it.
What doctor did you go see that they called it happy juice?
Borders?
Oh, okay. My time.
That's what they call it, isn't it? The happy juice? I don't know. The nurse said she roofied me.
When should 2024 schedule be? I'm just going to move on. That's a good question. I don't know.
What?
2024 schedule.
I believe they are working on finalizing just a few more things on it, but I would assume soon. Bryce Bozell, what's up, little man? Yeah, he loves hot moms. You remember that?
I do remember that. Probably one of the best interviews. It is kind of exciting that the Reveal the Hammer, I believe this is be their first Kalamazoo Speedway sanctioned race for the Marty Jones Memorial in June. So that's going to be a great one. I would love to see it rival more cars than Owasso had, but we'll see what the payout is.
That's going to be hard, but I just want to see a B feature. Honestly,
I mean that's a good goal.
I would like to see more than what we've been averaging at Kalamazoo with Outlaws. Just get a B feature out there. Get these cars up here. So hopefully some East Side boys aren't too scared to make a trip over to the West Side.
I will also have to give a shout out to Matthew Elsey and Quality Graphics. Did you see what he posted like 30 minutes before show? He's got die-cast cars wrapped up like a whole bunch of Kalamazoo. Taylor Sexton's was in there, Harrington's, Jeff Bozell's I saw. So I don't know if they're going to be custom orders or not, but be sure to go check them out because I know I would definitely order some of those. That's pretty sweet.
Be cool.
Sweet for the local guys.
So I'm going to go on my little thing. So we went to North Carolina. We went to the World Finals, and that was my first real dirt track experience. I mean, I went to Butler before, but there's nothing like this, and cops are calling now because alarms are probably going off. I had a lot of fun, and there was not a single race that was boring. Heat races were great. Features were great. The dash was great. Everything was great about it. So
even the track prep, that was great.
You know what?
Because I was bored out of my loving mind.
Okay, track prep sucked. But I understand why they did it.
Well,
I mean, it's the last night. There's a lot of money on the line. Let's take the time to make sure the track's good. I get that. So I thought, what is it that they're doing? And by the way, the stands packed stands. So I'm like, okay, what are they doing that asphalt's not doing? And I've thought about this for a while. We've talked about this on the show about heat races. A lot of drivers won't do the heat races because there's really not worth $25 to wreck your crap. And I get that. But if we're going to do anything like maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. I don't know. Just my thought is we got to make heat races mean something. Make the heat races where you finish determine your feature lineup. And I know there's a lot of people are like, well, that's stupid because now I'm spending more on tires. And I get that. Just what's working on that dirt side that's missing on the asphalt side. I don't know. And that's because car count was, I mean, granted, it was the World Finals. I get that. And maybe it's not always like that. But I mean, there was a lot of cars. There was great racing. Every single race was great. I mean,
you know what's going to be exciting? Phil's in the house. He's been on both sides of this. He's had to race in heat races. He's had to run heat races that don't matter. We'll get his take.
Yeah, we'll have to get his take.
My take, honestly, at the level we're at right now, heat races don't matter.
And that's what I'm wondering. Do they not matter where we need to make them matter, or just say screw it all together? Because I know there is people out there who loved, and I'm one of those because I probably will never, ever win a feature, but I may have an opportunity like I have before to win a heat race. Like my only win has been a heat race. So on that side of it, I would say heat race agree. But on the side of it where you're dropping $1,200 on tires, I get the heat races aren't worth it. And I understand that, but there's got to be something. You know, maybe what's going to bring the fans in. Like if we have a fan come in and says, hey, I just dropped $15 for 4 or 5 races. Well, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere.
I'd be okay dropping a $20 bill on 4 or 5 races for quality races. I don't get any enjoyment out of watching a 3-car heat race with 7 cars using it as a glorified hot laps. And we're guilty of that. We've done it.
Yep,
so yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head for $25 when you got $1,000 to win feature. It's tough to.
Yep. And I agree, and I don't disagree on that at all. There's got to be something. And then it doesn't have to be just the heat races, but there's got to be something that's going to bring these fans in. They're going to keep the fans entertained, because let's be real, we're entertainment complex. We're not. It's like going to a movie theater, dropping $50 on a couple of tickets and popcorn and drink. But people are there to watch a movie. What are we doing? People drop $50, $60 at a racetrack. What are we giving them to make it worth it for them?
I'm excited. If you'd like to see the notes, Chad actually typed them up. Very impressive. Spreadsheets coming shortly.
It's just, I literally get in my head, and I'm trying to keep PG here. I get stuff in my head and I start typing out, and it's spur of the moment thoughts, and maybe that's something that down the road we can talk about, like what can we do, some more things, because we talked about before, but there's got to be more. There's got to be more.
You know, it'd be awesome. And as we worked this last year on trying to get the fans and the drivers and the track all on the same page moving forward, was having a council that gets together, get a group of 20, 30 drivers, rent out the local hall, whatever, and have a discussion. Go with majority votes, see what's going to work. It doesn't hurt at this point to try anything, because we can't keep surviving how we're going.
No, I agree. And I like the idea, get 4, 5, 6 guys from each division, even if it's a traveling series, and bring them in and say, okay, what do you guys think? Because there's two sides of this. What are we?
No.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, there's two sides of it. You need the drivers, you need their cars, but you also need the fans to survive.
Yep.
So we got to find that happy medium. And if you bring in these drivers and say, okay, what's it going to take for you to say, okay, I'm going to make the trip. I'm going to do this. Is it your payout? Is it your start money? So be it. What's it going to be for you? Because in order to get the fans, we got to have good racing.
Just gave me a great question to ask Phil too.
See,
This is why we do this.
So yeah, that's just something, for anyone to think about, if what do you think? What do you think? No,
Your mom.
I knew that was coming. How did I know that was coming? Yeah, that's pretty much all I have on that. That's
For now.
for
this
now.
week.
I will dwell on this more, and yeah, that's all I got. So I say, let's have fun.
Let's bring him on.
Let's bring them on.
Won't. I ever mentioned that guests that bring gifts are my favorite.
So there's a story I'm going to touch on here. 12-time decided to pressure me one day because I was threatened that our show was going to change names if I don't take a shot with them on Fridays. So in good old-fashioned Bozell way here, I have to take a shot. So we don't have a name for Mondays.
No, it's too hard. So
So
Cheers, boys.
cheers.
Cheers. And then that happened.
What's the cough?
I don't know. It's been a minute since I
Lack
did
of
Fireball.
experience?
Yeah, apparently.
So, for all they don't know, I hate Fireball.
That's an understatement. If you got to witness one of the Fast Fireball Friday traditions, it ended up on the top of the golf cart. Inside.
Anywho, we won't talk about that. Voila, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Phil Bozell. So we've had you on before. We had what? Oh, guess I'm going too fast. So last time you were on, we had some. What do you call it, Paul?
We got Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Copyright infringement on a song.
Yep, on the intro. We had like 150 viewers in like the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, Paul, we are down to like 2 viewers. Yeah, they shut us down. So we made sure that didn't happen this time. So thank you again for joining us. We're gonna have some fun with you.
Thanks for having me, guys. We love watching this every week, and it should be a good time.
It's gonna be
We
great.
we appreciate it. You work hard on a Monday. I was assuming coming straight from work.
I went to the race shop, dropped some parts off for Dad because he's thrashing right now.
There you go.
Never
Always.
stops.
Man, it never does stop.
Never stops. If there's a free minute, it's got to happen.
Yep. They say championships are won in the garage. So in off season. So, and you guys prove that multiple times. So most people know, I've asked you this before, who is Phil Bozell?
Oh, I guess that depends on who you ask, but I'm just going to say I'm some redneck hillbilly that loves racing, grew up in a racing family. and really racing is all I know. I've grew up around it. Grandpa started it. It's what we live, eat, and breathe. That's all we do. There's some other things we like to do, and it's changing as the years go by, but we love racing. That's it.
Great answer.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm gonna roll right into the question that I thought of as Chad was talking about
boy.
the dirt versus asphalt. So Kalamazoo, back in the day where you guys and Outlaws were running basically week in and week out, was primarily Saturdays. Then we went to Fridays. What do you prefer? Do you like having the whole weekend racing on a Friday night when we do get to race, or do you prefer the Saturdays?
Now Phil versus then Phil. I would just find the racetrack to race on Saturdays if we race on Fridays. But as we're getting older, things are changing. I don't mind the Friday night because if there's not a big show on Saturdays, we got the weekend to do something else. And I've always said that the first one gets the worm. I mean, if somebody's racing on Friday night nowadays, it's hard for a guy to race on Saturday nights. It's truly hard to do 2-3 nights a week. And like I said, we're as sick as any, so I'm going to find the next one. So if there's one on Friday, I'm probably going Saturday anyway. So I think it's just all on what's best for each racetrack. They got to look at their clientele, what's going to work for them. And back to when they switched to Friday nights, I think that was their motive. They wanted to get the first money for the weekend so they could do something Saturday and Sunday. So I think it worked for them. I've been the guy that went to Spartan on Friday nights and went somewhere else on Saturdays. So probably the wrong guy to ask that, but I think I think part of the reason was to try to get the money from the people first, because it was hard for people to go 2-3 nights a weekend, and the people that could only do that, they wanted to get them first.
you're not
Damn
wrong.
good answer. Yeah.
You're not wrong at all. Since we took our Fireball shot, what started the Fireball Friday tradition?
Oh, Deer Camp started Fireball Friday. When Fireball first came out, probably before anybody knew what Fireball was, we had some Fireball, and I fell in love with it. Actually, before Fireball, it started before that. Goldschlager started my Fireball. My dad liked hot stuff, and when I was maybe not quite old enough to drink, we had some Goldschlager at Deer Camp, and one of my best friends from high school, Goldschlager ruined him for Deer Camp, and then Goldschlager kind of went away for a little bit, kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
It was hard to find, and then Fireball popped in the scene, and that's been it since. I mean, we were kind of one of the first. I've always said I wish I would have sent him a sponsor proposal because it's everywhere now. And
I mean, Fireball Friday rolls off the tongue a hell of a lot easier than Goldschlager Friday. So
Yes.
I'm glad,
Yeah.
personally speaking.
It does. That was a cool bottle, the Goldschlager
was.
bottle
It
with the real
was.
gold flakes. But that's what started it all way back in Deer Camp when we had the Goldschlager. The like for hot stuff, cinnamon. Actually, even past that, Hot Damn was my grandpa Gordy's favorite sipper, and we used to take that to Deer Camp. And when we were cutting up deer in his back barn, back before I was old enough to drink again, we'd take some sips of the Hot Damn. And it's funny, we're just getting ready to go next week up to Deer Camp, and we go every year and do a Hot Damn shot at Grandpa's gravesite, and that's what started it all, really.
That was a good story.
Goldschlager. Oh, I've got bad experience with that stuff too.
It'll make you feel better.
Oh, God. All right, Paul, go ahead.
You're sweating down there, bud. It's okay. It's not here.
Oh,
All right. So this is probably about 2 months ago now. We were talking about going into the off season, who we wanted to have on the show, either new guests or guests that we had on that we want to have back. And this is right about the time a lot of cars were coming for sale. And I was just kind of fired up. I'm like, how the hell are young guys going to be able to afford late models at this point? They're getting up there. You know, the majority of kids don't have the money unless, you know, they're fortunate enough to have their parents involved. So I'm sure you saw it. There's a late model for sale. Granted, it has a great history of winning races, but listed for $160K. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are we missed that boat about 3 years ago. We don't have no beginner classes no more. Shame on all of us for that. It really is. I started with a Buick Regal my Uncle Jeff gave me to be my first driver. I knocked the windows out of it. It was a true pure stock. And I know from experience, I got to a kid and a nephew that are racing. There is no more beginner class. We need to get back to that. These tracks need to realize that. And you are exactly right. To get a kid in a late model, I know I've been through it. I'm going through it right now. I got a hand-me-down when I started. It wasn't no $160,000 hand-me-down. That's what's ruining our sport. And I got to give it props to my dad. He said it all along. Let's put a price cap on these cars. Put a bounty on them. Put a claimer on them. You want to come to Kalamazoo Speedway and race on Friday night? $25,000. We're going to buy your whole car. If you don't like it, don't come. That's way better than $160,000.
Heck of a lot better.
And you know what? You can win with that $25,000 car. We've done it.
And that's one thing, which is why I wanted you on here. You're one of the few that really in and out every part of that car you guys are touching. You know, most guys aren't doing that anymore. You guys are fabricating your own stuff. It's good to see. How do your kids are interested? I mean, that's clear. They're doing it. We get pictures all the time. You know, he's out there working, fixing it, all that stuff. What happened down there, Chad?
I'm sweating.
Sorry. I see the rag get pulled out. I was a little concerned.
He's on down here.
But how do you find it? Is it easy to keep them interested, or do they have that fire from a young age that they're going to work for everything they want in the next 20 years?
They don't got no choice. I mean, it's how I was raised. It's how my dad and my Uncle Jeff were raised. They built their own stuff. Once again, I think that's what's wrong with racing nowadays. You can just go buy what everybody else that's winning has. I guess that's okay if you have it, but 98% of us don't have it or can't get it.
Yep.
So back to the beginner class. If we want this new kid to come and race, and he can't look at the front wheel drive class. I mean, how is this neighborhood kid that's seen his buddy racing supposed to get into racing? He can't.
Not with a $3,000 zoo stock.
No, not at all. A $3,000 zoo stock, you're going to be lapped in 2 laps. It's
What about a $500 Z stock? Because we got one of those.
that's November 25th, the Bad Santa Enduro.
Great.
That's
It's too pretty for that.
I've raced plenty of those races, and you learn from them. But even in an enduro car nowadays, we've missed that boat big time. I mean, I'm guilty as anybody else is building my kid a limited late or a sportsman, whatever you want to call it. And I've heard everything up and down from the sun, but he wouldn't have had it if he wouldn't have built it. But we looked at it as, I don't want to work on a stock car, and you can't build a street stock for less than I built that sportsman car for. So we need a stock class to get these kids interested, where the neighborhood kid can go tell his mom and dad he wants to race, he wants to come do it, and you can do it. And we got to get back to that. I don't care what track it's at. We need to have that class.
Amen.
Yeah. That's go ahead and hit it, because I know you want to hit it. Oh, now it's no good.
Moving on. All right, Chad, take it away.
Touched on that. I mean, you're 100% right. And then I started in the zoo stock, 2019, I think it was, and I paid $800 for my zoo stock.
Yeah.
And it was a B feature car. I couldn't get it out of the B. Got another car. I couldn't hardly get out of the B. You can't. Even in the zoo stocks, you cannot get a winning car for less than $4,000.
No, you're exactly correct. It's gotten out of control, and it escalated really quickly. And we didn't do a good enough job as a racing community controlling that.
100%. All right. What's more important in short track racing? Higher starting pay or higher winning payout?
Higher starting pay, no doubt. You just hit on it. And these big money outlaw races, the Reveal the Hammer, Paul mentioned Owasso, all these car counts. I've been on both sides of the fence, but when you leave that gate at the end of the night, more people need to be happy. That one guy's going to be happy with 5,000 or 10,000. If you got 20 people happy at the end of the night, you got 20 people coming back next week.
Man.
Damn, Phil, you're wise.
I mean, did I not say pre-show he's pretty good about this stuff?
It's in the protein. I mean, we all see it. I mean, when there's $160,000 race car on the line, that guy's not going to be happy whether he makes $100,000 or not. It's
no,
and that's a 5-year-old race car.
Yeah.
If you really read the print, that's a 5-year-old race car. That's we need start money all day long. Everybody needs to be happy when they leave the racetrack. With the tire issues we got going now, they don't last as long as they used to. We all know we can go on for hours about that, but More people need to be happy. Bottom line.
So you segue real good into this question. So you've been around where, let's say the Kalamazoo Clash used to be 2 days. Tuesdays were practice, Wednesday was practice qualifying race. We've kind of morphed into the 1-day show here lately. Do you prefer those days if money wasn't an issue where you got all the practice in the world? Or do you like kind of that dirt mentality of, hey, you're unloading from the trailer, you got 5 laps to figure it out and then go race?
I used to love that 2-day show. We'd go practice. It was like a tradition. But now, with the way the world is and this and that, people working this and that, 1-day show, we need 1 practice session, roll with it. That's all you need. I mean, it's anytime you roll on that track, it costs you money. It doesn't matter if you're going 60% to see if you got an oil leak or you're going 100% to do a qualifying lap. Anytime you go on that track, it costs you money. 1-day show, especially with people working now. Locally around here, we don't have people working full-time on their cars, crew chiefs, this or that. It's not a sim rig. It's not this or that. We 1-day shows. Less practice time, just roll with it. If you miss this week, suck it up, go back, fix next week.
100% agreed.
All right. When we were in North Carolina, I kind of chanted Matt Shepard for president, but I'm changing that right now to Phil Bozell for president because that is 100% what everyone needs to hear.
Yeah, it's about the sport. I mean, I see it. I work in the industry. I see these dirt guys in the dirt asphalt deal. I'm kind of on a double-edged sword about that because on the dirt side of things, you got these millionaires that's fun for them to go pay for these people to race. They're paying 3 people to work. They got a tire guy, a crew guy, a truck driver. You don't got that in our local short track. You don't have that.
No, you don't.
You got the guys busting their ass in their shop next to their garage 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, just to get to the racetrack next week. You don't have and I'm going to back up on that because I have a car owner. I feel like a hypocrite saying that, but he don't pay me. He don't pay me to work on my car. I do it in my own shop at my parents' house. And the reason I drive for Tony Leclerc, because I saved him so much money. You don't see that in dirt racing. You see I know for a fact that the top 15 of those guys are multimillionaires. They're just paying people to race. That's a tax write-off for them. So it's kind of a unfair advantage if you look at it from the other side of things, like I see it for. I've been to the dirt racing thing. Randy Sweet supported Scott Bloomquist for a long time, and he spent a lot of money doing it. And it wasn't your Saturday night hobby racer working out of the shop.
No. That's good to know. I mean,
it's speechless.
It is because
That's the fireball.
We've talked before where we can have fans in the stands and they don't see the other side of it. Like someone who races, they don't see that side.
No,
I was that person. I was in the stand at the World Finals, and I don't see the other side of that.
No, you don't know that guy that's owning those top 10 cars. He's got a $300 million business that he's using that as a tax write-off to let these, which is great for the driver and the guys working for that. Love it, but that's not for the Saturday night short track. That is a professional business you're talking about, not your Saturday night short track. And I've been on both sides of that. It's I get to go see that with my work side of things. That's why I know the inside of that stuff. It's those guys. They don't care. They're going racing. Your Saturday night guy, he might blow a motor. He might be out for 3 weeks. So it's and like I said, I've been on both sides of that. I've had car owners for a lot of my career, but I haven't abused them. I used them to the best of my abilities. I mean, I drove for my dad. I used his hand-me-downs. I drove for Pabuta Brothers out of Bangor. They wanted a driver. Tony Leclerc called me out of the blue because his driver was quitting, and he said, "Hey, you want to drive my cars?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It was that easy, honestly. But 9 years later, now we're together and we're still doing things strong, and I hope he appreciates that. I mean, that's the thing about it. We don't abuse it. He actually gives me shit about his chrome wheels. You need to get 2 new chrome wheels. I'm like, no, those are okay, Tony. But your dirt guys, they're ordering 2 new skids of wheels. So if you think about the whole backside of things, everybody doesn't see the whole story.
All right. That's yeah.
Not wrong.
No.
It's always 2 sides.
Yep.
Always 2 sides.
Go ahead.
All right. So you've raced weekly, 35, 40 lap features. You've done the big ones, 150 back clash when it was 200. Do you like the shorter races where you just got to be aggressive straight from the green flag? Or do you like the more methodical where you got 125 laps to figure it out?
I like them both. It's just on how you go into one and think about it. I feel like I'm a very good long racer because I can save my stuff and I know what it takes. But if it's 35 laps, you're lighting the wick, you go for it. So it's just on how you think about it, really. I mean, and I get it. I like the long races because it is a strategy game, and I think you can outsmart some people. So I would say I like the long races.
I mean, we've watched plenty of time at the Clash, the leaders going out there just running. Tires give away.
Yep.
You lap 80, there he goes.
Yep,
and then here
absolutely.
comes a guy that's been chilling in the back. So
I think that's one of the best things. Like as a fan watching where you see the fast guys yourself roaring back there running 15th, 16th, and then all of a sudden 5 laps go by and you're 3rd and 4th coming up.
Yeah, you said it right. I mean, Tyler's one of the best at it. I mean, I feel like Tyler and me kind of have the same driving style. I mean, he can, if it's a 35 lap race, I wouldn't put him against anybody. I mean, he could go there. But how many extra distance races has he won?
Right.
It's proof in the pudding.
For sure.
what? So, all right. You're.
He was trying to work it through in his head. Yeah.
He's got to look at the big screen.
Yeah.
Next race for you is that Leany Cup?
Liney.
See, I
Liney.
was gonna say cheese on Pete.
Liney Kugel beer. Summer Shandy.
Yeah. But is there, what's Kenton Speedway? I've never heard of Kenton Speedway. Is this a joke? Like, am I getting played here?
It's not a joke. It's an inside joke.
Okay.
So Deer Camp's next week.
Yep.
If you remember our last interview, we were going to the next race. So we as adults build toy rocket cars. We tear them apart, put fireworks in them, and we race them on the highway. That's Liney Speedway. And the way it's Liney, it's because Liney Kugel is the beer choice at the Deer Camp.
What highway?
A highway up north.
Yeah. Don't ask questions, Chad.
It's a good time.
So is there like champion winning thing? Like,
We got a trophy.
oh my gosh.
Champion gets to keep that trophy all year. Sits above your bed at Deer Camp.
Last Thanksgiving, I actually got a picture from you with a Hummer that had a 51 and I Love Hot Moms on it.
That's right. Yeah. It's a good time. It's between hunting in the morning, hunting at night, and eating. We build rocket cars. And it's, like I said, there's no off season, Chad.
That might be the best Thanksgiving tradition I've ever
It's
done.
awesome. I've been to Deer Camp ever since I was 11 years old, and Bryce has started this year. Mason hopefully going next year, and it's a good time. It's way up in the UP, out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't care if I don't see a deer. We have a good time.
Donnie Bress wants to know if there's start pay.
Depends on how much you drink, Donnie.
Oh boy, that was good. All right. What is it about racing that makes you want to do it?
Oh, I've said a few times. I actually like working on the cars more than I do driving them. It's something for me to do. It's something for me to do with my dad. I think it was something for him to do with his dad, my Uncle Jeff with his dad. The family time it creates is unbelievable. I mean, yeah, we like to go fast. We like to win. I'm a sore loser, but I've always said I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't racing. I'd probably be in a lot more trouble than I am now. It's just one of those competitive. I'm competitive. I like to do it, but I look forward going to that shop every night, whether it's building a steering column, welding a clip on, it doesn't matter. I look forward to going to that shop every night and clearing my mind. I can have the worst day at work, go to that shop, clear my mind, and we have fun for the night.
I enjoy the videos that I get from the shop.
You've seen it all. So
I-
if you enjoy it, just imagine how much we enjoy it. That's it. It's a family tradition. That's the best way I can put it.
And
Do
it
you
really
ever-
is.
Don't go ahead.
Oh, some of those videos where you got the whole family out there, girls putting decals on, you guys are working on something that it's super cool to see.
It is.
From,
I mean,
from kids up to you guys.
my wife decals all our cars. She can change the gears. My sister comes over and cleans the shop. The Mason will come over and do this. It's a family operation. My Uncle Ron, he's kind of our head crew chief now. He does everything we need, and he makes sure we're doing the right stuff when we're not doing the wrong stuff. I mean, that's it's just a fun time. It's awesome. Our shop's at our parents' house, right down the road from my house, so we're there a lot, and we just have fun doing it. That's the big thing, is having fun.
Amen.
Do you give any bad answers?
I have before, trust me.
I mean, no, seriously, like, man. All right, Paul, go ahead, because
All
I
right.
could go on hours on that one.
You've won a lot. You've won championships, big races. What's left on your racing bucket list?
Oh, back to our other interview. I want to go to the Snowball Derby. I don't care if we win. I want to go to the Snowball Derby in one way or another, take a car down. And I really don't have nothing left. I want to see the next generation keep our family name going. That's my bucket list.
Another damn good answer. You know what I would, and this is selfish Paul speaking, I would love to see you go down to the Snowball Derby and whoop $160,000 car's ass.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I would love to see that.
I would love that too. It's back to bringing along. I ran some ARCA races and got lucky and fortunate to be with some good people. Bobby Blunt hired me to work for a team out of Indianapolis, and part of my pay was I got to drive some races. And we went to the Milwaukee Mile and raced there against all the ARCA guys. And I put the car together at the shop, put the motor in it, drove the hauler there, and we beat those guys. And you can't explain that feeling. To beat those guys, that full-time crew guys, full-time crew chiefs. It's I would love to be able to go to the Snowball Derby in that $160,000 race car and race those guys.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. Might have record viewership if that happened.
Any big time car owners watching right now, Phil Bozell is looking for a ride for the Snowball Derby. Just throwing that out there. Wouldn't be a bad idea. So Kenny has suggested we should do shop visit show and start at the Bozell shop. Might be something.
I love that.
And then Scott Elsie wants to know, racing its family, sometimes good and bad?
Yeah, absolutely both. Yep. I've had it both ways. I love it and I wouldn't change it for the world, but there's been some situations that we've been in and it didn't go well. But if you race enough, you're going to have those situations.
Kenny said Milwaukee was a great race.
Kenny was there cheering in the stands. That was awesome.
So Paul's crew chief said that Paul's planning on buying Derek Thorne's old car for $160,000. Maybe you could run that at the Derby.
I think if a zero fell off of it, maybe. Yeah, we got to get the helicopter
Oh,
first.
we're getting the helicopter first. Okay. All right. Trophy or medals?
Neither.
Elaborate.
Happy Gilmore check.
Ooh, man.
It's cheaper for the track to make and it looks good on your shop wall.
Damn.
No one said that one. That's fantastic.
A good
We
one.
got a shop wall, and I know people that have raced. Rourke got the same thing. I love the Happy Gilmore checks. And I love that movie. And that check means more to me than the trophies do. Half the trophies you put and collect dust, and the checks we hang up. So Happy Gilmore check. All the tracks should do that. I don't care if it's $1,000. I don't care if it's $50 for a heat race. Give them a Happy Gilmore check.
That's fantastic.
And I can't imagine it costing that much.
It's cheaper than the trophies.
I can't imagine, even with the medals, I can't imagine.
Plus, the tracks know they're not getting recycled. Give the Boy Scouts. I mean, they're getting displayed. It's advertisement for them.
Yeah.
Kenny, I know you're watching because you're answering. Pass that along.
I've actually won some races. I was mad I didn't get a Happy Gilmore check because I wanted to add to the wall.
What's your favorite Happy Gilmore check that you got?
Oh, my favorite one, actually, the Summer Sizzler I won. That was my favorite Happy Gilmore check. That was my first big race. Shouldn't have won it. I had no reason to even be in there. Took my dad's old hand-me-down. That was the very first time I did Madhouse restarts, and that won me the race.
So nobody was going to ask that question, but what are your thoughts on Madhouse restarts?
It depends on the racetrack.
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, I like Madhouse restarts because there's 2 lanes. You can go to the top and the bottom depending on the night. The one I'm talking about is New Paris. There was Now there's not much of an outside groove. Back in, I don't know, whatever year it was I won it, I was just barely made the race, flopping around on the back, and they had a restart, and every single one of them went to the bottom, and I was 17th. I drove up to second. The next restart, the guy blew a motor, and I won the race. So,
Oh my God.
what wouldn't you like about that?
Yeah. I did not know that's how it went down.
That's
pretty
exactly
great.
how it went down. I got to the restart, lap 27. They had a restart. I went to the outside. Mike Klugler from Angola, he was leading the race. Blew a motor like 10 laps after that restart, and I picked the bottom, and that was it.
Wow. What a story.
That paid pretty well, right?
20 grand.
20 grand. Wow,
Yeah.
I thought it was only 10.
No,
That's
that was
awesome.
20 grand back then. That was, I don't know what year it was. I would be lying if I told you.
Oh, something.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's my favorite check. I mean, we've got some between now and then. The clashes, they mean a lot. Don't get me wrong. They all mean a lot. Every single one. I don't care which one they are, but that one's the most special just because how it happened.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Stutzman wants to know your most memorable late model race in your career.
Oh, well, we just talked about the Sizzler. That's one of them. I probably have to say that's one of them for sure. Other than my first late model race, my first outlaw race at Kalamazoo, I was racing Pierce Stocks at M40, and my dad wanted me to drive the late model at Kalamazoo to see if I could handle it because he wanted me to start the clash and qualified sixth, and just so they rolled a six and started me on the pole. And that was back in the heyday of outlaw racing. Mike Vince Barentak, Kenny Scheffler, Tommy Martin, Bob Holly. And I told my dad, I'm like, I'm scared. I want to start tail. He's like, load it up then. I'm like, all right, this is how this is going to go. And I got to race with my heroes and sort of the same thing as my dad. I feel like we're a generation gap around between the old guys. And I got to start with those guys. And I really think that's where I learned a lot of my racing respect skills. It's changed over the years, but I learned from some of the best. I mean, those guys were awesome, and they'd come over and talk to you. That's a cool thing, and I think that's what taught me a lot. Like I go talk to the other guys and tell them what I think they can do better. And I mean, I watched my dad and Mike Vance Barentak race side by side for 80 laps and never touch, and you don't find that nowadays.
No,
it's unheard of.
I like how you put that because I sometimes feel the same way. Like I grew up with Jack Landis and all them racing, and what you learned back then is not near what you see with 18 and 19-year-olds in a $100,000 car anymore. And hanging out at the races, I think outlaw drivers are some of the best that clash, especially this year. You know, we were all kind of pitted right there. Everybody went and talked. I mean, for the most part, nobody really packs up and gets the hell out of there. You know, Fireball Friday, we're all screaming for each other after a race. So that's cool.
It's
That's
a big
cool.
deal. I mean, there's the teaching lessons you learn from them guys. I mean, like you said, Happy Jack. I mean, I've watched that guy race forever. I was in diapers watching him race, and to get to race side by side with him, and just some of this, he's one of the, you never see him door somebody or quarter panel somebody, but that's why he's Happy Jack. I mean, it's just the stuff you learn over the years, and we need more of that.
Hank Miller says Fireball motivates you.
Yeah, me and Hank got some stories, that's for sure. I miss that guy racing at the racetrack, that's for sure.
Seltzer wants to know who motivates you the most.
Probably 12 time. Honestly, just when you learn from somebody like that, he's in the shop right now. I mean, let's go back to 1992 Clash, and the guy cuts the front clip off his car on Monday night, and he wins on Wednesday night. Like, who does that? And I've been to Kalamazoo numerous times when he's won on Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was. And I'm going to get up early and beat him to the shop, unload stuff, and his car's on the scales before I get there. It's like, that's motivation. I mean, he could beat you by a lap and a half, and he's scaling the car and changing shocks and springs for the next week because he's going to be better. You always got to be better. Don't ever, I know it's kind of cliche, but don't ever unload your car on Thursday. We've talked about this before. You're never going to learn. It's got to be Sunday. If most people are Saturday night after the races, I mean, it's a full-time deal.
That's how you win 12 championships.
12 at Kalamazoo.
At Kalamazoo, yeah.
27 total.
Where's the applause button on that one?
Damn.
Yeah. That's your motivation for you. I've won 3 or 4 championships. That's nothing compared to 27.
Do you like racing for championships or do you like going for wins?
That's a double-edged sword. I hate it. It depends on what the points pay.
That's fair. We had this discussion last summer. We were
Absolutely.
talking about the
And
last couple races of the year.
I was the worst points racer in history this year because the Wasso paid very good money for points, and I lost 2 races because of that. I felt like I could have won 2 races over there if I would have raced harder and not done a stupid mistake, but I couldn't take a chance of taking that chance.
Wow. That makes sense.
And they paid so well over there. I mean, it was $7,500 to finish second. But if I had a quarter panel that guy and we spun out, I was going to the tail. I would have lost that race and the $10,000 point fund. So I hated it. As much as I loved it, I hated it.
All right. What track's your favorite track?
Milwaukee Mile.
I mean, we heard the backstory, so that's good.
Oldest operating track in the United States.
One cool facility.
Yes, it is. And the cool thing is, a random fact, a history buff here. 2 father and sons have won there. Andy Bozell, Phil Bozell, Mario and Michael Andretti.
No.
No kidding.
That's it. Yeah,
I
so
did
we
not know
went
that.
over there. I won the ARCA race, and a couple years later, we were lucky enough to go over there for the ASA race. And they had the ASA North and the ASA Challenge Series, which had a couple different rules, different tires, different left side weight. And my car owner, Randy Chupp, at the time was supposed to race the race, and he didn't want to. So we threw my dad in the car, had to pour power the seat out, change some left side weight, throw some tires on it, and he ended up winning the race over there. Just a spur of the moment, but that is how some of the best memories happen. So for him to win there and me to win there, that's pretty darn cool.
I actually watched you guys change a seat out this year out of 12 times car for Bryce. And I think we were timing you guys like, there ain't no damn way they're going to change. Sure shit, you guys changed that seat. He was in it, ready to go.
Yep. 27 minutes is what we did the first time. I think I can do it quicker now, but
I think that's what you said. You're like, give us 30 minutes. We'll have this thing ready to
that's
go.
all. We had that. He already had practiced that car. So we had the seat mounts built, the lead where it goes. We nut zerted the roof and windows because in that exact situation, we wanted to be able to get Bryce in it as fast as we could with the same track conditions so we could tell what it was back to back.
Yep. It's Dylan Stovall wants to know what's your most difficult track to get around.
Oh, I would probably have to say Berlin Speedway. Berlin is the most difficult technical track I've raced, and we've went there and ran a long time. And I've won a race there, got lucky, but it is so technical. When you watch it, it doesn't seem like it is. It's totally different, but you can be going fast there. I've had spotter tell me, all right, you're half track ahead, save some stuff. And all right, the guy's coming behind you. No, you don't have nothing left. It's so technical. You can't even describe how technical it is. Line sensitive, aero sensitive. Berlin is so aero sensitive, especially with our outlaw cars. You get behind somebody and you can slow down a half second. You can run the guy down, run right up on him and stall yourself. And you hear it talked about on Sundays, aero sensitive, this, and then back up and drive back to him again and stall yourself. You get within 3 or 4 car lengths with him and it just stalls. You're always turning at Berlin, even worse than Kalamazoo or anywhere else. And that you're always stuck in that guy's dirty air.
You gonna go race the Berlin Outlaw race next summer?
Yes.
Good answer.
Yes.
So Joe Gonzalez says, Phil's the fastest man I've seen use tire spoons.
I can spoon some tires pretty quick. We've never had a tire machine at the shop until this last year. Always learned to do my own tires. It's just one of those things I've always done. And
You do it at the Clash.
Yep. And some of the times you get a guy running a tire machine, he'll bend your wheel or break your valve stem. And
You're treading water here.
I've
Paul's
just
triggered.
I've done it so quick. Unless you are really good with a tire machine, and I think me and Donnie Press have talked about this. I hot shoe a couple years ago, Springport. I had a guy pay me to mount his tires because the line was so long and he didn't want to wait. I can just do it that quick. It's just something. It's just like anything else. If you do it so long, you'll be good at it.
Yeah, if you're ever in the pits at the Clash or even any race, just watch Phil because I've watched him and I'm like, this dude's going to change all these tires before that line even moves.
I'm pretty sure he had 2 tires done before Brad and I were even through our hot dogs this last summer.
And I usually do
it's
both of our
insane.
cars. So Plymouth, one of the races I did before the tire line moved, the guy did 2 tires and I did 8 at Plymouth this year.
And he didn't bend any rims.
Yeah.
Now I am triggered. Thanks, Chad.
Oh my gosh. James Binkley wants to know, what are you doing for 2024?
We are building brand new outlaw car. I'm building one. My dad's building one. It's a badass chassis. It's me and my dad, Barton Brooks. Same cars that Mark Shook runs. Me and my dad have ran. We're building 2 brand new cars. Dad said he wanted 1 more before he quit. And I'm sure he's working on it right now. We're sitting on the hoist next to each other, getting them ready to mock up before we go to powder coat. And we're going to run all the big outlaw races, especially all the Reveal the Hammer races, and run the boys as much as we can. Other than that,
What's I know Bryce is on the show, but what's Bryce's plan?
well, Bryson Mason, we actually went out a couple weeks ago and tested at Kalamazoo, and we're probably going to make 1 limited late, depending on if the rules ever come out. I wish they would have been a little closer on these rules between all the tracks, but we're going to make one of those a limited late and still have his sportsman car, and him and Mason, and we're going to run them. It's one of those things. We're going to run them as much as we can, anywhere we can.
So Mason getting out of the zoo stock then?
No, he's still going to run that car. We're
Okay.
going to do some upgrades with it, make it obviously the ABC. We got to make it a little better. Took him out to Kalamazoo with Bryce the last 2 weeks ago or something like that. We went out and tested, and Bryce drove the outlaw car and Mason drove the sportsman car, and they both impressed me. I mean, it's you hop in a car. I can only imagine as a 12-year-old kid hopping in a car and going out there and going within 2/10 of what we did. It's pretty impressive. But once again, when you're around it all the time, that's what you know, that's what you do. So we're going to run them whatever we can and try to help them as much as we can to do our own thing.
All right, I'm going to jump some Skittle power.
Oh yeah, that's a Billy Shannon and my kids thing. They both love Skittles, and every time Billy comes over, he has a handful of Skittles with him. And Brent and Bryce both love Skittles, so that's something they have in common. And Billy can't walk in the shop without a bag of Skittles. He'll be in trouble if he does.
That's awesome.
Let's know why you and Andy were so dominant at Spartan.
That's just one of those tracks. I feel like it's you can have some places that you call a driver's track. If the bottom's not good this night, you go to the top, and kind of leads back to your heat race thing. So I got to give Tom and Tracy a lot of credit. They did the dirt draw deal where you drew for starting spots, and you had to finish in the top 4 of your heat race to make the feature or the redraw anyway. And there was times I drew 1, drew 2, but there was times I drew 9 in the heat race and had to drive my ass off.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Okay. To get to the top. So it's just one of those tracks. And my dad and my Uncle Jeff cut their teeth on those quarter miles. It's just I think the quarter miles put more of the driver in the hands than anything else. And I feel like we get around there very good. I've always got around Spartan good. It's just one of those things. I've watched my dad there a million laps, and it's pretty line sensitive. You can overdrive the car a lot there. Sometimes you got to underdrive it to be good. Know where to overdrive it, underdrive it. Both ends are different. 3 and 4 is different than 1 and 2. A lot of people don't like going to the outside of 3 and 4. Paul, you can attest to that.
Yep.
And I think you can make 90% of your passes down there. So I think it's a technical track.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Paul.
All right. Named a car Stella. Tell us the backstory on that.
I believe all race cars should have names.
Preach
And
it.
we've done the same thing forever. We've always picked a name, and ours have always been, my cars have always been an S name. And my wife's always told me they got to be a dirty librarian name. So I got Sophia, Susie, and Stella was the next one in line. And
Dirty librarian or strippers?
however you want to look at that.
Okay. No, just want to clarify that.
Two are a lot in the same.
Yes, they are.
So, so our new car,
Oh.
my new car is actually Sophia, and we're naming her after Sophia Loren, the old actress from the way back days. And that was Tony and his buddies. They picked that name. So I've kind of just stuck with that S name and picked one, and actually just sold my modified this last week, and that was Shay. So we've always just picked names.
Was it sad seeing the modified go?
It was. It was real sad. I liked racing it. I love racing the modified class. We've done that a lot. It's just with all the outlaw races next year, I wanted to concentrate fully on all of them with 2 cars. We're going to do a bunch of testing with the new car, and just not enough time to do all of it correctly. So I wanted to really concentrate on the 2 outlaw cars.
Nice.
All right. Seltzer's got a question that I had. What's one thing you would change about the sport?
Back to the beginner class. I'd make a beginner class.
True beginner class.
Keep it a beginner class. Don't let it explode. I mean, these front wheel drives in the last 3 years have exploded. I mean, and I'm from that. I had a 1983 Buick Regal. I knocked the windows out of 4-post cage, stock motor in it when I started. I blew the motor the second week, and I pulled the motor out of my grandpa's plow truck to race. And
did he know?
yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. He gave me the idea.
Okay.
But that class, I mean, when I started in 98, I mean, it was a true beginner class. I mean, me and Bubba Brooks, street tires, stock car, 4-post cage. That's what we started at, and we don't have that no more. We haven't had that in 10 years, really. We need a beginner class that your neighborhood kid could see you racing and get in it. And we need more new kids involved, and that's the only way to do it.
For sure.
Yep. All right. Biggest accomplishment in 2023.
Oh, I'd have to say the championship at Wasso, even though I hated how it happened. I wanted to win more races. Obviously, everybody wants to win more races, but in that class of cars against that class of drivers, in the quality of cars and drivers, I mean, we had 50-some cars that one night. It's to win the championship, bring that home for Tony, and that was pretty cool. I mean, we won a race over there. Got lucky. I was right around 4 points racing, and the guys in front of us broke, which I'll take them any way I can nowadays. But like I said, that point fund at the end of the year, that bought a lot of new parts for the new car.
I'm just gonna say I might be the lucky charm because I was there for when we won that race.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take luck on this.
Yeah.
So if you want to win, just invite me. We did go. Yeah. Just saying. All right, Paul. Go
All right, I got one more. It's a 2-parter because Hank also asked it. How do we get a Bryce Bozell or any Bozell merchandise? He saw a Bryce Bozell hoodie at the Meyer on Westnedge. So we'll go with how can fans get some Bozell Racing swag, and who do you have to thank that gets you here?
The swag, my personal Facebook page or Bryce's Facebook page, you can message us. We got hoodies and sweatshirts and t-shirts there. The bullet with the mullet shirts was a pretty big hit. So we still got some in stock. We're ordering some more. So if you message me or my wife or on Bryce's page, we can get them to you there. And as far as who else I got to thank, first and foremost, Tony LeClaire. He like I said, 7 or 8 years ago, I was sitting in my tree stand hunting, and he called me one day and wanted to know if I wanted to drive his race cars, and that was a life-changing moment. I actually had built some of his race cars when I worked at Port City, so we kind of knew each other and said hi here and there, but never expected it would grow into this. And he gives us everything. The dude is sick. He wants to win races. It don't matter what it takes. And him for sure. Performance engineering racing engines. They build some awesome horsepower. It's reliability. We've never had an issue. AMSOIL by Dan Nimps. The best lubricants you can put in your car. It doesn't matter what it is. Gear oil, transmission oil. If you're not using AMSOIL, you're probably gonna have problems. Barrett Smokehouse, FK Rod Ends, Next Generation Lawn Care. Jeff Wolfersberger has been with me for 5 or 6 years. Great friend of mine, one of my best friends. Helps us out with fuel and anything else he can. Lane Automotive, All-Star Performance, outerwears, filters. The list goes on and on. Plus all the family and friends. I mean, we don't have no full-time employees. It's family and friends. I got to thank my Uncle Ron. He is probably sicker than I am. He is down there. He drives an hour, 2-3 nights a week to work on the race cars. Wow. He's kind of been our backbone lately, putting things together, making sure we do things right. Organizational stuff. I mean, it's been big, not just on my car, my dad's car, Bryce's car, Mason's car. It don't matter what car, he gets it ready. And then all the family. I mean, it's like I said, if anybody's pulled into our driveway, you can see 8, 9, 10 cars in there, and it's work night. So we have fun doing it, and couldn't do it without all of them.
And I will say, you guys have helped our program a lot with transmission issues in 2019, especially. I felt like I was living down there with you guys, but I'd go in on one of your race nights and you were dropping everything you were doing to help me get my stuff squared away. And that It's always been super awesome that you guys help a guy that really is just out there trying to have some fun and get stuff going. So thank you, because I know I'm not alone in that.
We treat people how we'd want to be treated. I'd like that if I needed that help. So that's how it's always been.
Appreciate it.
So I got 2 questions before we have our fun. Young kid comes up to you and wants to start racing. What advice are you going to give him?
Oh, we don't got that class, unfortunately. Obviously, I would probably tell him to start with a mini wedge class right now. If he's never had no experience, you got to learn the how to drive, flags. I mean, if you're starting at a base 0 quarter midgets or mini wedges, I mean, the mini wedges is a relatively inexpensive way to go. You can race at 9, 10, 12 different tracks to learn the dirt, the pavement, the green flag, the red flag. Some people, if you're starting at base 0, they might need to learn all of this, the brake, gas. Let's go back that far. They might not even know. So
It's funny you say that, because Anthony Foote flagged for us a couple of times, and he threw the halfway point flag, and a driver pulled off, thought that was a checkered flag.
Yep.
Didn't even know.
but it just shows Anthony's been around it for his whole life. So
Yep.
he knows.
Yep.
We got to remember this neighborhood kid that's playing football. He has no idea it's halfway, or he doesn't know what the move over flag means. He doesn't know the etiquette, or to, if you're getting the move over flag, to move this way or that way. So we need more beginners. And this whole sport does. If we want to see outlaws in 20 years, we need some beginner front wheel drives right now.
Yep. Go back to younger Phil Bozell. One piece of advice you would tell him.
Soak it all up. I think I got too involved too early and didn't cherish the memories that we were actually making. And I'm learning that as we go now with Bryce. I'll stop and explain to him, and it might be a nice weld that he made, or you did this, or just cherish the memories as you go. I think, and just like, we're a fast family. I don't think in the past that we've enjoyed it enough. I mean, for all the memories that my dad, my uncle, and my grandpa, and my family, my Aunt Katie, my Aunt Cindy, they all raced. We just need to enjoy it more. I mean, we have fun, don't get me wrong, but I think it's those little things that will keep them coming back and back.
Phil Bozell for president.
Yep. All right, Phil. Now the fun part. We're going to do some word association. You've got some pretty big shoes to fill here, because we've had a couple of good answers.
I've watched a couple of them.
Okay. So, it's this rapid fire. And we're not FCC regulated.
Yeah.
So you're good. Hey, you ready? Green.
Go.
Food.
Chinese.
Drink.
Beer.
Coors
Light.
Music.
Anything that's good.
Band.
M&M.
Country.
Tracy Bird.
State.
Michigan.
Track.
Milwaukee.
Driver.
Andy Bozell.
Fast.
Cars.
Slow.
Wrecked.
Cheater.
Andy Bozell. Just because everybody's always called him that. It's the first thing that comes to mind. You said rapid fire, right?
Composure. All right. The GOAT.
Andy Bozell.
Dirt.
Scott Bloomquist.
Asphalt.
Andy Bozell.
The Clash.
Marty Jones.
NASCAR.
Slow.
That's good. Took me by surprise, though. What did Rutherford say for cheater? Prove it. Yep, prove it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Chinese food. That's a new one.
Yeah, that is
We
a
haven't
new
had
one. We
that
haven't
one
heard
on there.
that. Man. There are so many questions on here that we didn't even get to, because people are just rapid firing questions out. But
Well,
I'm not going to keep you much longer, because
It's race night.
it's a race night. It's race shop night. So I just want to personally say thank you. You are one of them that helped me out when I first started as well, because Paul made a post out there, hey, has anyone got a racing jacket? And you're like, hey, I got one. So you were one of the first to help me. You're always helping everyone at the track. Paul, anyone that needs help, you guys are there. So from my heart, for everyone here, thank you for what you do for short track racing.
Thank you guys for having me. It's pretty cool to watch this and see how it's grown from week 60 now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool that it's right here in town. It's pretty awesome, and I hope you guys keep going on.
We appreciate that. It's a lot better than the first one that we got kicked off Facebook with.
Yeah.
So we give you the option. We have 2 segments. If you got to go, we totally get it. If you want to hang out, it's up to you.
I'll
It's
hang
your
out.
call.
I'm good.
All right.
Yep.
So, crash of the week. Crash of the week. By Top Road. I heard that was my fault.
Goes around and everybody stops.
Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness.
You know, I did. I called it right before. I'm like, there's an in-car camera on this. Man, I'm impressed with heads-up driving, though. That's a lot of people just.
We've seen some
Ass
crash
back.
of the weeks that don't end that well. But thank you, Lewis. And he's got his bracket challenge going on right now. Right now, Kalamazoo Speedway is losing. We had the numbers up here right now. Voting goes till 9 p.m. tonight, I believe. We're losing to Slinger. Yeah, we'll pin it right there. So make sure you go to Top Row Racing Media, vote for Kalamazoo Speedway. Oh, now leads. There we go. Cool. M40 also needs to beat South Bend, so make sure that one works. I'd love to see a Kalamazoo M40 showdown.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So
1 hour-ish, so 1 hour and 7 minutes left.
close to it. So then let's move on to the EMA Enterprises Dad of the Week.
Who's your daddy? Come on, you know who your daddy is. Who's your daddy? Dargo, tell him who his daddy is.
I'm your daddy.
And this week's winner is Bobby Schisler, won EMA Enterprises Dad of the Week. So I just got a little write up here. A dad is someone who wants to catch you before you fall, but instead picks you up, brushes you off, and lets you try again. A dad is someone who wants to keep you from making mistakes, but instead lets you find your own way, even though his heart breaks in silence when you get hurt. A dad is someone who holds you when you cry, scolds you when you break the rules, shines with pride when you succeed, and has faith in you even when you fail. A father's love is measured not in what they have, but in the happiness and success of his children. We congratulate you, Bobby, on being a great dad.
Congratulations.
Woo! Woo!
Applause.
Yeah, where's
There we
the
go.
applause on that?
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's
All
all
right.
good. There it is. Woo! So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got tonight. It's great show. It's always fun. When we see the Bozells pull up, we're like, yep, this is going to be a night. And it typically always is, even though I get suckered into Fireball. But again, thank you for hanging out with us. Like I said before, you are extremely knowledgeable in this sport, and the short track racing needs guys like you. So
Short track racing is better because of guys like you and families
Yes.
like you.
Thank you.
So,
Yep.
no, thank you.
So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. As always, make sure you give us a share, like us. Remember to check in with your friends and family. Typically, the ones who need the most help are the ones that don't want your help. Sometimes all it takes is an open ear to help somebody through a rough time. And with that, we love y'all.
See you guys. Woo! Woo! Woo!